welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're going to be focusing in on just the face. So basically, I'm going to show you guys how I do my bronzer, my highlight, my contour, my blush, all the things to do with the base is what we're going to be talking about today. I've gotten a ton of questions on how I actually do my contour, so I figured I would just sit down, do a quick little video on how I do the whole shebang. And I'm also using all drugstore products, which is super cool. These are honestly the products that I use day to day. They're some of my favorites. They're super affordable, but they're also really amazing quality. So yeah, if you guys want to see how I achieve all of this on the face, then stay tuned for the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started putting the contour on first. So today I'm going to be dipping into the Profusion contour makeup case. And this is what it looks like right here. So I purchased this at Target. I don't remember exactly the price, but I can insert it somewhere for you guys. I know it was like under $10 for sure. And I went ham on this. Like, you're gonna die when you see the inside of it. The packaging isn't the best, but the quality of the product inside is really all that matters, and that's my favorite part about it. So this is what it looks like. I've obviously hit pan on 2 shades, so that says a lot about it. It is definitely one of my go-to and favorite contour slash like bronzing palettes. I used to use the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette all the time, but after I discovered this, I stopped using that completely because that one is a lot more expensive, and honestly, I can get the same effect and look using this palette alone. So first I like to go in and kind of warm up my complexion using the e.l.f. Flawless Face Brush, and this is what it looks like right here. This is probably hands down my favorite brush that e.l.f. created. I think it's really soft, amazing quality. I've washed it a million bazillion times and it's still just like brand new, so I definitely recommend this brush if you need something for, you know, overall bronzing of the skin. I've even used it for blush before, and it's really pretty and diffuses the powder really evenly. So since I do have a little bit more of a sun-kissed tan right now, like I've said before, nothing crazy, but it is a little bit more warm than what my natural skin tone looks like, I am going to go in with this medium contour shade right here, and I'm just going to dip into this. So what I like to do first is just go along the perimeter of my face. So first we're gonna hit right here, and a little trick that I like to do is I kind of take it from the very top of where my ear lines up right here, and so that is where I'm gonna start applying this powder. And then you just want to sweep it back all the way to the hairline, because if you don't go all the way back into your hairline, you will have like a little white line where your hair meets your face right here, and it just doesn't look like you're naturally bronzed up. So just keep that in mind. And I always like to do little circular motions, and I don't go in with too much product at first. I keep dipping in, because if you put way too much product on in the beginning, it does tend to look a little bit cakey and muddy. So just gradually build it up. And then we're gonna do the other side. And I'm using like not a lot of pressure, so I'm not like pressing the brush into my skin. I'm just very softly like grazing it over my face, just because if you go too crazy, I promise it's not gonna look natural. I mean, it's not gonna completely look natural anyways, because you are wearing makeup, but you want it to look as natural as possible. And then the next place that I like to take this is right along my jawline. This is really going to slim down the jaw. It kind of creates almost like a shadow effect, because you kind of naturally have a little bit of a shadow right here. So you're just adding even more to that. And I always like to take it on my chin. I have a really pointy chin, which is totally fine, but this just kind of creates another shadow, so it looks just a little bit smaller and not so pointy. So using the same exact color, I'm just going to press this right into my hairline. And just like when I was talking about on the cheek, you do want to make sure you go up into your hairline. Otherwise, you will also get that really weird white line, because our scalp is naturally just a little bit lighter. So you just want to make sure you're blending up into the hair so that it looks all like one color. It doesn't look like you're wearing a mask, because if you leave this out, it literally looks like you're wearing a mask of makeup, and it's just not the most flattering look. So just remember to kind of bring it up into your hairline. And I literally take this all around. If you have a smaller forehead, you probably don't have to take it all the way around the perimeter of the forehead. You probably can just get away with just doing it on the sides right here, but I do have a little bit of a larger forehead, so I like to take it all the way around to create that shadow so that it kind of brings my forehead down just a little bit. And then I am just lightly gonna take this down the sides and the nose. I don't really contour my nose all too well because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not very good at it. So I just took a little bit of color just because your nose tends to get lost if it's just really pale. So we're just gonna add a little on the side here. You can see already it looks a little bit better. So that is it for the bronzing part. So next I'm gonna use the Suva Beauty brush, and this is in the number 180. And just to compare the size difference, this is the brush we just used and this is the brush I'm gonna use now. I really like this one as well. It's super amazing quality. It's so incredibly soft too. And then I will be dipping into the darkest shade in the palette. I know the shade looks really intimidating, but like with the other shade, you just wanna use a really, really light hand. And if you find yourself being a little too harsh and pressing too hard, just grab the brush at the very, very end, because whenever we grab the brush all the way up here, we're already applying way too much pressure. So whenever you grab it down here, it just helps you to kind of dust it on lightly instead of just like doing that, because that's again gonna make it super muddy, especially if you're using this dark of a shade. So I'm just gonna lightly, literally just the very tip of the brush, I'm gonna dip in, because whenever you put it just on the tip, then it's not gonna be like on the side, so you're really having more control of where you're putting the product. But we're just gonna go in right there. And I'm still doing little bitty circle motions. And for this, I don't really like to go past the center of my pupil because I don't want too much darkness here, because I kind of want to keep underneath my eyes light and bright. You always want to make sure to blend up as well, because it kind of defeats the purpose of the contour if you're blending it down. So that is it for the bronzing and contouring portion of the video. So now we're gonna jump into blush. So for blush, I have literally rediscovered this and I'm so obsessed. This is the e.l.f. Cosmetics Bronze Peach palette. And I think this is a part of their Aqua Beauty line. I don't really play with the bronzer color too much just because the tone doesn't really suit my skin too well, but I love this blush. And if you've never touched these palettes before, they are like that putty consistency. It's so cool how they feel. And I know a lot of people tend to think that you can't really go over your powdered skin with a cream product, but for some reason this works just fine. Like I never have trouble with it like skipping over my powdered skin or anything like that. So we're gonna go in with this, and to apply it we're gonna be going in with the Sigma Large Angled Contour Brush F40, and this is what it looks like right here. And so basically I will just go in and kind of stamp it. Definitely don't go in too crazy with this because it is a very, very bright pop of color. So if you go in like crazy with it, it's gonna look like clown cheeks. So just take my word for it because I did that before and it wasn't cute. And so for this, I kind of make this face right here looking super jolly, and then I just hit right above where I placed the contour and bronzer. And I like to start off with a little bit of product and then I will dip back in and grab a little bit more. And I like to take that as well all the way back to the temples. So that is the blush portion completely finished. So the next thing that I like to do is dipping back into the Profusion powder and using my dampened beauty sponge, I will just go straight into this. It's more of like it does have a yellow tint to it, but it's not like a super bright banana powder. I don't know how to explain it. It just has a little bit of yellow to it, but it's a little bit more pale, and I really like the undertone of it because it's super brightening. So I'm taking about that much on my beauty sponge, and then from the corner of my mouth to basically like my earlobe right here, I'm just gonna draw a straight line. And then I will dip back in. It's kind of hard for me to pick up powder because mine's so used. And this is the trick that you can use if you ever blend your contour down too low or your blush. And we're just gonna dip back in and do the same exact thing to the other side. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that, let it set and bake and just really mesh with the skin, and we're gonna work on our highlights. So this is probably my absolute favorite part. I feel like highlight makes the world of difference because we put so much powder on. We are so set right now. We don't have any illumination to the skin. So we just want to bring the illumination back into the skin. So for that, I'm going to go in with the Milani, what is this called? Stellar Lights highlighting palette. This is amazing. This is definitely up there with my high-end highlights. So if you are a girl on a budget and you need a really good highlighting palette from the drugstore, look no further. Check out Milani. Their highlighters are my favorite. Theirs and Wet n Wild are my favorite drugstore highlighters. And I really like this palette because you get a little bit of versatility and you can totally use these on the eyes. They are so pigmented. So to apply the highlighter, I will be going in with the Sigma High Cheekbone Highlighter Brush. It's FO3, so that's what it looks like right there. I like it because it gets pointier at the ends, so that's where you can kind of hit your cheekbones, your bridge of your nose, your cupid's bow, all those places that we typically highlight. And for the longest time, I was just using this lighter shade right here, but honestly, since I do have a little bit of color, I've been mixing the first shade and the second shade together just to warm it up a little bit because this is like icy white, so you just have to be careful if you do have a little bit of warmth to your skin. But that's why this palette is so good. You can kind of just mix them together and create your own custom color. And I always start by creating a little circle right here and then blending it out from there. I don't usually start back here because I want the highlight to literally be right where my cheekbone is. So you can always feel where the highest spot of your cheekbone is on your face, and you'll feel it. And that's where you want to start and then blend from there. And then I will blend back from there. I don't want to blend in because you don't want to add any highlighter to your pores because it will exaggerate them and you will definitely see every little nook and cranny there. Trust me. Just trust me. And I like to take mine all the way back, and then I like to connect it with my brow bone shade. So I feel like that just gives a very luminous, like, sharp look. It's so pretty. So that is one side with no highlight and then one side with the highlight. And I just feel like it makes the world of difference. It is absolutely hands down my favorite part of my makeup routine. Okay, and then I will take the same two shades together and I like to hit right here, like literally using just the longest bristles. I like to hit right here and kind of create a line. And so what this is gonna do, it's gonna make your eyes look farther apart because my eyes are really big and round and close together, so this is just gonna make them look a little farther apart, just like that. I personally do not take highlight on the tip of my nose. I have a very, very round pointed nose. It literally just draws attention to it. So what I like to do is take it about halfway down on the bridge, just so everything does look cohesive. But I completely avoid this. If you have a cute little button nose, do it because it is the most adorable thing ever. I just totally can't do that, which is fine. I just can't. And then also, I do have lipstick on. I usually do this before lipstick. I will hit right here. And that is what the highlight looks like. Oh, I did forget one thing. I'm also gonna go in with the Sigma Pencil E30 brush. It looks like this right here. And I'm gonna take the lightest shade in this palette and I'm gonna highlight my inner corners. I totally forgot to do that. This also just brings so much light to your eyes. It makes you look more awake. I feel naked, literally naked if I don't do this. Okay, now we are actually finished with the highlighter this time. I promise. Okay, so now it is time to wipe away all this powder, and for that I like to use my e.l.f. stipple brush just like this. I like this because it doesn't have a lot of pressure since the bristles are so long. It just kind of dusts it off. So that's what we're gonna do. Oh, and I almost forgot the very last step that I like to do just to set everything that we just did. I will take the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. This is hands down my favorite setting spray. I've used so many out there. I love the mist on this because it's so super fine, but I do feel like it makes my skin look like skin again, especially after going in with all the powders. This just kind of brings my skin back to life. I'm almost out of this, so we will see if anything comes out. It did. we're good. Oh, the smell of it is so luxurious. I love it so much. And then I take my dampened beauty sponge and I will press that very, very, very lightly into the skin, just to kind of help it set everything. And it will leave the most beautiful glow, but like not too glowy, like not oily effect to your skin. It is my favorite. This is my second thing of it, and I will continue to use it because I love it so very much. But that is it for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this type of video. I've gotten so many questions on how I contour and highlight my face, so I figured this was a super easy video for me to film, so why not film it for you guys? If you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to give it a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed what you saw today. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave. That way you are notified every single time I upload a new video. But that is it, guys. I will see you in the next one. Mwah! Bye, loves.